Oh man. So Barbarian, right? Barbarian was very, very interesting. I'm gonna try not to spoil it because you all need to watch this movie. But from now on, I don't think marketing or movie studios should be allowed to use scariest movie sense or the scariest movie of the year or scariest sense, whatever the fuck they want to say. I feel like that is no longer on the table. That should no longer be allowed on the table, and people should no longer be allowed to say that because it has just lost all meaning. It has no weight to it anymore. It is just a phrase of empty words. And this movie was kind of an example of that because it wasn't bad, right? It was good, but it was very ridiculous. This movie was absolutely ridiculous, right? So Barbarian was directed by Zach Krieger, who I didn't know turned out to be one of the members of The Whitest Kids You Know. You know, rest in peace, Trevor Moore. But this is like his first horror endeavor, right? He doesn't really have that much to his writing credit. A couple indie films and episodes of Whitest Kids You Know. But for a first horror endeavor, you know what? It was way better than Nope, okay? As for the scariest horror film of the year, given all the shit that's came out this year, there hasn't really been anything scary, right? Like, Nope was literally the only thing I was excited for this year horror-wise, and it was a letdown. I mean, X was ridiculous. You got Pearl coming out. You know, I guess some people can say that Doctor Strange 2 was kind of scary, but that's because it was fucking horrific. I haven't, unfortunately, seen Studio 666, Dave Grohl's horror film. I'm pretty sure that's probably going to be better. Rest in peace, Taylor Hawkins. But, geez, man, like, this movie was absolutely ridiculous. So it stars pretty much Justin Long and this whoever this chick is that's playing Tess, Georgina Campbell. Turns out she was in an episode of Black Mirror, so it's like, all right, girl, you're moving on up. But this film pretty much takes place in this house, this Airbnb in Detroit, that's like in this shitty ass dilapidated town. Like, it's like, why would you stay in an Airbnb in a town like that, in an area like that? I feel like you would just possibly get attacked by homeless people, and I mean, it does kind of happen in the movie, but not how you would think. And it pretty much takes it's about these people that end up going to this Airbnb, and for some reason they don't really explain why. Whoever sets up the Airbnb just brings people to this house. Like, it's like they don't know that there's like a cellar in this house, but they don't care that they like book multiple people. Like, it kind of gave you like a feeling of like what was that movie, like Vivarium, where they're like going to this town and the town is only for them, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Why are you the only one here? Like, you know, if I was the only one here, I would not be here. So they're in this like multiple characters find out they're in this Airbnb, and then it's filmed very well. I will say the way it's filmed and the score of the movie is very good. Like, the music is intense and all that stuff. The way it's filmed is very cool, but it's not like, I mean, yeah, it's scary because it's like a lot of scenes are in darkness, but it's like, you know, I mean, Men, I guess, was technically scarier because of the way shit went down. Whereas this way, it's like, there's a lot of scenes of like, why would you go, like, why would you do this? Or why would you do that? Or why would you do this? You know, a lot of it just didn't make sense. But so it turns out that originally back in like the fucking 50s or something, when this area was really beautiful and lively, that this guy lived there and apparently was like, I'm assuming like a serial murderer, serial rapist, whatever you would say, but he created like a dungeon in the bottom of his house and would kidnap women and pretty much do God knows what to them down there, and then have like this little incest breed fest down there, and he pretty much lived down there like for his whole rest of his life, and you end up finding him, and he's all old down there, but it's ridiculous. But that's pretty much what the movie is. I mean, it's a very, I don't want to spoil too many parts because a lot of the story is interesting. You know, it comes together well, but it's very like, I will say that Bill Skarsgård, right? He's in most of the trailers, and I'm a fan of Bill Skarsgård and Justin Long, especially. You know, they're veterans of horror, so that's why I was kind of excited to see this film. But Bill Skarsgård does die within the first like 30 minutes or so of the movie. Like, the beginning of the movie is kind of a sleeper because, you know, the characters are finding out that they're in this Airbnb together and like blah blah blah. But when they find the cellar and they end up going into the basement and like in the trailer and everything, like, it's like, bro, like, if I was any of those characters, I would have left. I wouldn't have fucking been like, oh, I'm gonna investigate down here. I would have fucking called the cops and been like, hey, y'all need to fucking find out what's going on down here. Or I would have brought a gun or a weapon or some shit. I wouldn't have just went down there on my own like they did. And, you know, again, it's just ridiculous. It was a very ridiculous movie. I enjoyed it. I was at the edge of my seat, But I definitely, I was gonna tell my girl, like, I can't be looking at you with the top off for like a couple of days now. I can't be like looking on the titties anymore, because I gotta like, get those images out of my head from watching this movie. But for the most part, yeah, I enjoyed it. It was definitely a fun watch, but yeah, I can't go with that whole scariest movie of the year bullshit anymore, because yeah, I guess it was the scariest movie of the year. But, I mean, hell, a lot of people thought that Nope was the scariest movie of the year. So, hey, guys, you got which one you going to choose, huh? Nope or Barbarian? Because, honestly, I'm going to have to say Barbarian. Nope had its scene, and honestly, Barbarian has its scenes, but I think Barbarian as a movie was so much better than Nope. But, I don't know. That's just me. So, check it out. Barbarian's in theaters now. I definitely suggest you watch it. Definitely suggest you watch it. This has been Ghost in the Craig. Thank you so much for tuning in. And you guys have a fantastic rest of your day.